From Omni Search Labs in Rhode Island, you're listening to Omni Presents. I'm Chris.
And I'm Cheryl. We're your AI guides from the Omni Search Labs virtual digital marketing team.
Join us as we unravel the latest from the OSL blog.
And walk you through how to optimize your business for AI and search engines.
Right. So today, we are focusing entirely on you, the business owner, the marketing director, or professional operating right here in Rhode Island and in Southeastern Massachusetts.
Yeah, the people who know the digital landscape is actively shifting right under their feet.
Exactly. We are taking a deep dive into the hidden mechanics of search in 2026 because the way people find local businesses, especially small and medium-sized businesses, has fundamentally changed.
It really has.
The integration of AI into search, it isn't a future prediction anymore. It is the current reality of how potential customers, these high-value leads, are interacting with your brand today.
Right. And the challenge for most of our clients is simply cutting through the noise. I mean, there is an overwhelming amount of panic and misinformation circulating right now about what AI actually means for business visibility. It often leaves people feeling just paralyzed, unsure of what actually moves the needle and what is, just industry hype.
Right, which is why our mission today is to shortcut that learning curve. We are pulling directly from our comprehensive February 2026 industry update published on the Omni Search Labs blog. We really want to bypass the heavy technical jargon and hand you a realistic, fluff-free action plan. So let's start with the most jarring shift from the latest data.
Yeah, the zero-click issue.
Exactly. If you've looked at your analytics lately, you might be wondering why your website traffic looks entirely flat, yet your phones are still ringing. Or conversely, why your traffic is up, but your sales have totally flatlined.
Right.
This comes down to the rapid acceleration of zero-click behavior.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the data coming out of Google's February 2026 Discover Core update shows a massive structural shift.
Huge shift.
Yeah. Search engines have fundamentally evolved their core objective. Historically, their job was to act as a digital directory, right?
Right. You type in a query, and it hands you a list of 10 blue links to go explore.
Exactly. But today, their primary goal is to provide the user with an immediate, definitive answer directly on the results page. With the rapid expansion of AI overviews, if someone searches for, say, commercial HVAC repair New Bedford, the search engine synthesizes the information and presents the phone number, hours, and booking options right at the top.
Right there on the page.
Yes. The user taps the call button and never actually visits the HVAC company's website.
You know, I hear the logic behind that from a user convenience standpoint, but I look at this from the perspective of a local business owner, and it sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it can definitely feel like one.
You spend thousands of dollars developing this high-converting website, and the search engine essentially intercepts your customer before they ever get to your landing page. I mean, how are you supposed to build a brand or track your return on investment if nobody is actually visiting your site?
It feels completely counterintuitive, but you have to stop treating raw website traffic as your only metric of success. The analogy we use with our team is that for years, your Google business profile was just a billboard on the highway.
Right.
Its only job was to point people to your actual storefront, which was your website.
Yeah, but in this zero-click reality, that digital profile is no longer just a billboard pointing the way. It is your storefront.
Exactly. People are walking up to the digital window, looking at your reviews, checking your hours, seeing if you offer the specific service they need, and making a purchasing decision right there on the digital sidewalk.
It's wild.
If that profile isn't meticulously curated, they just walk to the next option, and your website analytics will never even register that a potential lead was in the neighborhood.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if the digital profile is the storefront, the actual content you produce is what stocks the shelves. And here's where I see a lot of local businesses driving straight off a cliff.
Oh, absolutely. The AI track.
Yes. There is a massive temptation to lean entirely on AI to generate content. I hear from local contractors in Warwick all the time asking why they should spend 3 hours writing a blog post about winterizing pipes when a tool like ChatGPT can spit out 1,000 words in 3 seconds.
Right. It's fast, it costs nothing, and to a passing glance, it reads professionally.
Exactly.
That temptation is universal right now, but our latest research outlines the severe risk of that exact approach. AI tools are undeniably powerful for human-AI collaboration.
For sure.
They are phenomenal for outlining a complex topic, researching historical data, or fact-checking your grammar. But utilizing AI as the sole author of your web content is incredibly dangerous for your visibility.
Yeah, you can't just copy and paste.
Yeah, exactly. The algorithms are aggressively evaluating content to identify authentic human experience. When a website is flooded with AI-generated fluff, it actively undermines the trust signals your domain relies on. Search engines don't just want a grammatically correct paragraph about fixing a pipe. They want verifiable proof that a real boots-on-the-ground professional is standing behind that advice.
Right. And we all know the standard EAT framework: experience, expertise, authority, and trust. That has been the gospel for SEO for years.
Right.
But the new OSL blog post argues that the flood of AI content has fundamentally diluted that old model, because everyone can fake basic expertise now.
Yeah, a bot can sound like an expert in seconds.
Exactly. That's why we've moved from standard SEO into AIO, which is AI optimization, and ultimately into SEV, search everywhere optimization. To navigate this, our team developed the Equate framework.
Yeah, Equate builds on the traditional model, but introduces the two elements that bots currently cannot fake, which are quality and uniqueness. So it stands for experience, quality, uniqueness, authority, trust, and expertise. Because an AI can instantly generate a massive volume of text, sheer volume no longer provides a competitive moat.
Not at all.
Your content must contain a deeply unique perspective. An AI cannot replicate your specific, nuanced understanding of your local market or your personal operational history.
Let's ground this in a highly specific local example to show what Equate looks like in practice.
Okay.
Say you run a roofing company down in Newport. If you prompt an AI to write an article about preparing your roof for winter, it's going to give you a very generic checklist. Clean the gutters, check the flashing, inspect the shingles.
Right. Accurate, but totally sterile.
Exactly. To inject that crucial uniqueness, you have to weave in hyper-local context. So you write about the specific corrosive effects of the salt air coming off Narragansett Bay. You discuss the historic district building codes on Thames Street that dictate what materials you can actually use. You mentioned the specific wind shears we get during a southern New England nor'easter and the exact underlayment required to survive it.
That hyper-local nuance is the ultimate trust signal. When an algorithm processes that page, it recognizes specific entities, Narragansett Bay, Thames Street, local building codes, that tie the information to a verified physical reality.
Right.
You are proving that you operate in a real three-dimensional space, solving specific localized problems. That is the authentic human experience the search engines are desperate to reward over generic machine-generated checklists.
Here's where it gets really interesting. That authentic human experience concept. It brings up a fascinating pivot from text to visual content.
Oh yeah, the photo analysis.
Yes. The blog update dives deep into how this same level of scrutiny is now being applied to your Google business profile, specifically the photos you upload.
Basic profile maintenance, updating hours, and phone numbers, that is just the bare minimum now.
Yeah.
But the section on AI visual analysis really demands attention.
Yeah, break that down for us.
Well, this is where the technology is getting incredibly sophisticated. AI is no longer just reading the text on your profile.
Yeah.
It is actively parsing the visual content of your images. It is scanning the photos you upload to understand the context and the environment of your operations. The critical detail here is that the algorithm isn't just looking at the smiling team in the foreground, it is heavily analyzing the background.
Let's explore the friction point there, because that sounds highly intrusive. You're saying if a commercial kitchen out in Fall River uploads a photo of their head chef, the AI is essentially playing health inspector in the background.
That is a very real scenario. If you operate in a regulated industry, food service, manufacturing, construction, and you upload an image, the AI is looking for contextual clues.
Okay.
If it identifies a mop bucket sitting next to a food prep station, or an improperly secured ladder on a job site, or unsealed vents in a manufacturing facility, it can flag those visual cues as a lack of safety or compliance.
That is incredible.
It interprets those background details as negative trust signals, which can quietly suppress your overall visibility score. Every image you push to the public is data being processed by an algorithm looking for reasons to trust or distrust your business.
That level of algorithmic scrutiny is wild, but there is an offensive strategy here too. Our team highlighted a brilliant pro tip from the sources for service businesses that rely on before and after photos to prove their competence.
Yeah, this is a great tip.
The standard habit is a technician snaps a blurry before picture on their phone, does the work, and takes an after picture from a totally different angle. The update advises choosing a highly deliberate angle before the work even begins. Mark the floor with tape if you have to. Then, shoot the after photo from that exact same physical footprint.
The visual consistency is what matters there. When the framing is identical, the algorithm can easily parse the actual physical transformation of the space without getting confused by changing perspectives or lighting.
Right.
But more importantly, it provides a clear, undeniable visual narrative to the human customer scrolling your profile. It shows intentionality, and intentionality builds trust.
We really have to talk about the math behind customer reviews, too, because the data in the February update challenges a lot of legacy assumptions.
Oh, totally.
The old strategy was to aggressively stockpile hundreds of reviews over a few years, build a massive mountain of 5-star ratings, and then essentially coast on that reputation.
Yeah, and the algorithms have shifted their weighting entirely toward recency. A massive pile of old, stale reviews is no longer a protective moat. The data proves that a fresh, consistent trickle of recent reviews will reliably outrank a competitor with a higher total count but no recent activity.
That makes sense.
The search engine needs to verify that you are actively delivering quality service today, not just that you were a great company 3 years ago. Based on the current update, we have specific targets.
Let's hear them.
High-volume retail or restaurants need to generate 4 to 8 new reviews every month. Local service businesses and contractors need 2 to 4 a month. Project-based or B2B companies should aim for 2 to 3 a quarter.
Okay, wait. I want to push back on those targets for a second. It's very easy to sit at a digital marketing desk and prescribe 2 to 4 reviews a month. But if I'm a local plumber, I'm already working a 12-hour shift, managing inventory, and dealing with payroll.
Yeah, it's a lot.
How is a small team supposed to sustainably hit that quota without feeling like they're constantly harassing their customers?
It is a significant operational hurdle, but the algorithm doesn't adjust its requirements based on a business owner's fatigue. The only sustainable way to hit those numbers without it feeling like harassment is to build it into your core operational habits.
Right, you can't just batch them.
No, you cannot wait until the end of the month and send out a mass email. You have to strike while the positive emotion is still active. The recommendation is to integrate the ask into the final step of your service delivery.
Okay.
Within 24 to 48 hours of completing the job or closing the sale, while their relief or satisfaction is top of mind, you send a personalized direct link. Make it a non-negotiable part of closing out an invoice.
And while we are talking about non-negotiable profile maintenance, there is a silent cross-check happening that penalizes a lot of businesses.
Yes.
The search engine is constantly crawling your actual website and comparing the data against what is listed on your Google business profile.
It's all connected.
Exactly. If you have a dedicated page on your website for commercial snow removal, but you haven't explicitly added that to your services list on your profile, or if your service areas don't match exactly, the algorithm spots the discrepancy. It views inconsistent data as a red flag for unreliability, and your ranking suffers simply because your digital footprint is messy.
Which transitions perfectly into the concept of the daylight saving time audit.
Yes, I love this concept.
We all know the drill. When the clocks change, the fire department reminds you to test your smoke detectors and swap out the batteries. Our February update introduces this as a vital mental trigger for digital housekeeping.
Absolutely.
You need to dedicate 30 minutes to auditing your digital safety, because there are insidious technical glitches that can silently bleed your business of leads. The most destructive of these is the silently failing click-to-call link.
This is one of those technical details that sounds minor until you realize how much revenue it destroys. Walk us through the mechanics of a failing click-to-call link and the E.164 standard.
Okay, so most business websites feature a phone number at the top of the page. On a mobile device, a user expects to tap that number and have their phone dial immediately.
Right.
However, if the hyperlink code behind that text isn't formatted to a very strict international standard known as E.164, it will often fail to route.
Interesting.
When you hover over your phone link on a desktop, the destination URL must start with tel+1, followed immediately by your area code and phone number in a completely clean string, absolutely no dots or dashes.
So imagine the real-world friction here. A potential customer is standing on the shoulder of I-95 in Providence in the freezing rain.
Oh, terrible situation.
Their car just broke down. They search for a local towing company, find your site, and jab their thumb at the phone number. But because your web developer put parentheses around the area code or added a stray hyphen in the back-end code, Their phone's operating system cannot parse the command.
Yeah, it just breaks.
The screen just refreshes or it throws an error. That customer isn't going to hunt for a pen to write the number down. They're going to hit the back button and call your competitor. You lose a high-value emergency lead simply because of a stray piece of punctuation in your code.
It is incredibly frustrating because the business owner usually has no idea it's happening. And the exact same principle applies to broken website forms.
Yes, another huge gotcha.
As part of this daylight saving audit, you must manually test your own contact forms, fill out the fields, hit submit. Does the button actually process the request?
Right.
Does a separate thank you page load? And most crucially, does the notification email actually land in your primary inbox, or is it getting trapped in a spam filter? A broken contact form is the digital equivalent of locking the front door of your business during business hours and walking away.
And the failure cascade doesn't stop there. If the form does work, you have to verify that the completion is actually being tracked.
That is the final piece of the audit. You have to ensure those form submissions are logged as key events in your Google Analytics dashboard. If a user lands on your site from an expensive ad campaign, fills out a form, and your analytics software fails to register it as a conversion, you are flying blind. You have no reliable data to tell you if your marketing budget is generating a return or if you are just burning cash.
I love that the OSL team threw in one final physical checklist item alongside all this technical auditing. While you are testing your click-to-call links and your form conversions, don't forget to change the water filter in your office coffee maker.
Yes, a very important step.
It's a lighthearted point, but it hammers home the philosophy of total operational housekeeping. Taking care of the small details, whether digital or physical, creates a highly functional environment. So what does this all mean? Let's shift our focus to the final major paradigm covered in the update, which is engaging with AI search.
This is really the new frontier.
For a long time, the industry treated platforms like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Perplexity as novelties. But the data now confirms they are primary search vehicles. But optimizing for these platforms requires a totally different architecture than traditional search engines.
Because an AI platform doesn't read a website the way a traditional bot does. A traditional bot crawls a page looking for keyword density, header tags, and backend structure to rank it against a billion other pages.
Right.
An AI platform is reading for meaning, context, and entity resolution. It is parsing your paragraphs to extract trustworthy, factual answers to synthesize for users' direct question.
So a page that holds the #1 spot on a traditional search results page might be entirely ignored by AI if it doesn't directly answer a question.
Exactly. If the text doesn't clearly state the answer to the user's prompt, the AI skips it. To solve for that, the actionable strategy is to integrate FAQ-style content directly into your core service pages.
Okay.
Do not bury your frequently asked questions on a separate, hard-to-find page in your footer navigation. If you have a page detailing your commercial plumbing services, place the questions right there in the body content.
Right.
But you have to use the exact conversational phrasing your actual customers use when they call your office.
So you write out the explicit question, and then directly underneath it, you provide a clear, factual, human-authored answer. You strip away the marketing jargon and the sales pitch.
Yes, honest human experience.
When an AI tool crawls that specific page, it recognizes the clean question and answer format. It validates the local entities and the expertise in your response, and it becomes highly likely to extract that specific block of text to serve to a user asking that exact question on their app. You are essentially formatting your expertise for easy algorithmic extraction.
And the window to establish this authority is still open. We are in the early adoption phase of AI search behavior.
Yeah, just like the early days of online shopping.
Exactly. The early adopters who build their local credibility using the Equate framework now and optimize their content for extraction are going to build an insurmountable lead over competitors who wait for the dust to settle.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. In a digital world that is about to be completely flooded with endless AI-generated answers, the most powerful and disruptive marketing tool you possess might just be your ability to prove your messy, genuine, boots-on-the-ground human experience.
Absolutely.
Here's a wrapper. The mechanics of search are shifting rapidly toward immediate AI-driven answers, but your ultimate defense is proving your authentic, local human experience combined with flawless digital housekeeping.
If you're a business owner challenged with this right now, the key is to set aside 15 to 20 minutes this week to verify your Google Business Profile hours, test your E.164 phone link, and manually test your website contact forms.
Head over to omnisearchlabs.com/blog to read the full post.
We'll be back in a couple of weeks with our next episode. From OmniSearch Labs in Rhode Island, thanks for listening.
Now go optimize something and be discovered.